Here's an Emerson. Cleaned up the cabinet a little bit. So here's the Emerson chassis. Now that's dried up and crusty. Okay, so is that. Look at that. It won't even focus, it's so dirty. A lot of rust. I might get rid of some of the rust. This works. This is going to work when I clean it. Bottom is sealed, so we're going to have to take that apart to take a look. I'm going to clean the outside first. Okay, here's the underside of the Emerson. Don't think it's ever been worked on. I don't know what's going on with that capacitor right there. That's a little sketchy. Possibly had a new cord at some point, but it's hard to tell. Maybe original. It is rubber. So the caps have to all be replaced. I've done several of these. They're not too complicated, and they work pretty well. So Emerson was, a value brand, and they're simple, but they work well when they work. Looks like it's been pretty much left alone. Yeah, so I think that's what we'll do. We'll just change the capacitors and hope it works. There's not really much else to do here. Okay, we've changed the capacitors here. I put in a safety cap. I hope that works. And fit them down there. There's not that many in here. It's pretty straightforward. Let's see any dial-light activity here. Can't really see. Could also be bad. 30 volts. I know the speaker's rubbing, so I got to take that apart and see what I can do with it. We're at 40 volts. 50 volts. Expect to see a little bit of something. And I don't. Yeah, okay. I'm going to check the filament string. Okay, one way to do this, put the meter across the plug, right? So I've got figured out the tube, right? So you pull these tubes out, right? And each one you pull out, it opens the filament. So, not the rectifier, right? So this is obviously, we're good. It turned out that it was this 12SA7, which is this tube right here, and filament was open. So we're going to power it up again and see what happens. So we'll go ahead and turn this on. This is now with good tubes in it. Good, 20 volts. Can't really tell here. 30 volts. We're at 50. Oh, I hear a hum. Probably bad output tube or bad rectifier. Try the output tube first because I have one. Okay, this is with a new output tube. Nope. Probably the rectifier is bad, which I don't know if I have another one of these. Let's see. Okay, this is with a different rectifier. Pulled this from another radio. So we'll see. I have another one of these 5-tube sets behind me. Okay, do we have a bad output tube as well? Great. So the issue that we were having, had a few issues here. Two of them, two bad tubes. We had a open filament on this 12SA7, which I'm going to have to order some because I don't have any more. I pulled one from another radio. Same goes for this 35Z5 rectifier, shorted. So that's no good. So I pulled a tube from another radio. So again, order a couple tubes. Capacitors, obviously, are the biggest issue. I'm going to shut this off. So the thing that I found, which was important here, was this chassis grounding cap from the negative B minus to chassis. I put in what you're supposed to put in, which is a 0.01, and the radio wouldn't play. So I upped it to a 0.1, and now it's working. So, sometimes you can, the designers designed it a certain way, and it has to be that way. And unfortunately, it's not as safe, but, whatever. People are not likely to touch the knobs because they are recessed in the cabinet. So without a knob on the set, you can't really do anything. So it should be safe enough. I do have to change this external antenna capacitor. All it does is provide a connection to the outside antenna, which is unlikely to be used. This has a decent loop antenna. It should be all right. So I got to do that. I'm going to do an alignment. The chassis does need a little cleaning up. I probably will give it a little rust treatment and, see if I can clean that up a little bit better. But otherwise, it's playing. I mean, these are, okay radios. They're very simple. There's nothing special about them, really, other than the cabinet is catalin instead of Bakelite. If it were a Bakelite set, I think they'd be, $10 radios. But these are a little more desirable than that. But they're pretty cool. I like the design of the dial. It's a nice dial. I love the color. And the cabinet, obviously being swirled catalin, is really nice. So we'll see about just kind of getting this back where it's supposed to be. Okay, it's playing a little bit. Should be way louder. So I'm going to just see what we've got for the... Let's see. Probably way out of alignment. There we go. See what a difference in alignment makes sometimes? And I'll do this right with a signal generator, but I put it at 600. Which gives you a rough alignment.
$101005. If you or your business owe back tax around the country,
it's working okay.
New this morning. This week I sat down with Dr. Jackie Green, dentist, wife, mom, author, spiritual leader, to talk about...
Okay, we have the signal generator set at 455. I have it running through 8.01 capacitor, which I hope is enough. And back here. Turn that down. So that should be, actually it's probably pretty close. So we'll go ahead and just align the IFs. We'll go ahead here, start with the... It's pretty good. I bet. That's pretty good. Come on. Hello. Do we have a not happy 12SA7? I'll have to get a new one. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, we'll do this again. Come on. pretty good. Alright.
In PR stations, other contributors include the Lodestar Foundation, inspired by the principles that...
Okay, so then what we'll do is let's put a signal of 1500 in here. So that would be band C. That's 1400. We'll go to 1500. And I'll go over here.
No.
And this should go behind. Drape it over the antenna here.
And we can then see proof is there, but
there it is right there. So then what we'll do, we'll peak this. Come on. That's the oscillator, sorry.
Program was taped in front of an audience.
Oops. Where's that signal?
Hi, that's broadcaster here, and I'd like to tell you about my own.
He's playing great. Oh, we can't get that on
That is
there.
a great play. Tell you on the phone what I have. But
He got elected in a
I'm telling you, these Emersons, for being what they are,
encourage you to see Avenue at Grove.
super sensitive.
That old-time news quiz. Give us a
This is during the day.
So that I am.
Sunday. We're on Sunday here, and we're getting all these stations.
because you talk in your sleep. Find your dreams to home.
Play HGTV.
Let's see how the I can't play this, but the oscillator, I know it's going for the signal generator. 660, 710. What is it's that 12SA7. It stops oscillating. I'm gonna have to get a new tube. The 12SA7 and a 35Z5 I gotta get. Okay, so I'm using this naval jelly to remove the rust on the chassis. I've removed some of it already. This is kind of what's left. It's not really rust, but it doesn't look great. But, you know, if I really wanted to make this perfect, I could remove everything, paint it, and then put it back together. That would make it last longer. But you know, it's okay. It came... Oops, didn't mean to do that. You know, it's really not bad. Came out okay. The goal is just to stop it from rusting, and that's kind of what I've done. So I think we've accomplished that task. There's a little more there I could probably get. I might do that. Okay, so once this dries, I can't really tell, but it's still wet. Once this dries, this will be like a white color, and the rust will be gone, and you know, it'll be at least serviceable. Like I said, we've got all the capacitors replaced. So we're in pretty good shape. And we'll get this back together. Now, one thing to point out, this dial, you can see it says Emerson radio, and the numbers are starting up here. In other models that I've seen of this radio, the dial's actually positioned differently. It starts down here with 55 or whatever and goes up. This one's the opposite way, and it has a logo here. So I wonder if this maybe used a different tuning capacitor or some other part change. But anyway, it's kind of interesting that they did that. Okay, just so you can see what it does, it kind of turns the whole area white. And that's gonna take care of the rust. It doesn't look pretty, but at least it will be rust free, so that's good. Good to put that back together, and I'll put it back in the cabinet. One thing here just to keep in mind with the screws is when you tighten them, just do it kind of loosely on the catalin sets. They eventually this plastic warps, and you can see it's happened here a little bit. It's warped. And if you tighten them really tightly, it'll just crack, and you'll end up with stress cracks all over here. So we're going to do it kind of loose. Okay, here's the Emerson.
Higher cost drugs. I
Very
don't know what
nice world cabinet.
Patent by now. Let me start.
Oh yes.
Off the top of my.
If that coincides with bad
What are you giving up
play,
to get him?
He got 500 million.
They say it's linked with Syria. They say it's linked with Hamas. They say it's linked.
New York Minute, thanks so much for watching.
Wow, this station never comes in. Comes in on this.
Her clothing was gonna.
What we're going to be seeing on the eastern side of Long Island, and also close to Connecticut.
Jackson, I believe. We are jammed from back of the Utopia Parkway in the...
One question.
The Big Ten in that.
Today, please.
The Women of Grace phone lines are open. 1-833-28...
Same location. No except reasonable offer, no games, no tricks.
So,
It's a perfect time to buy.
it works all right.
4340 Northern Boulevard, Long Island City. Call
Beautiful,
1-800
really
Major Auto or
nice
visit
cabinet.
MajorWorld.com. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
Oh, they can't even get their
1010
FM
Winds
frequency
AccuWeather
right.
forecast. Meteorologist John Fear.
It seems to be a trend, or offering an additional FM frequency, which, to be honest, I don't know if anyone listens to, because the reception on FM around here is not very good. We have a lot of trees, a lot of hills, and those are all things that FM just doesn't really like. AM, we get, you can get in the car and drive around for a long time and be on the same AM station, but on FM, it just you're constantly switching. So I don't know about that trend. I just don't think it's practical for the type of information they're trying to offer on AM, news, traffic, things like that. It's just not really the right thing on FM. But anyway, they offer it. I guess they figure that some people don't have access to AM. If you have a Tesla or one of those new electric cars, which, by the way, may be forced to add AM. These days, this radio, as big as it is, it's not that big, but it's built into a little chip about that big, and it costs them nothing to add an AM radio to a car, which is the fact they don't do it. I mean, why? It's insane. Anyway, that will probably be changing. My new car has AM, and it's actually, surprisingly, a very good AM receiver. Sound quality is good, reception is good. I was impressed, actually. But for today, this AM receiver is working again.